So, hello everybody to whoever was here before on this channel watching those two short videos that I made before, and to whoever is brand new. Welcome. And yeah, this is a brand new video. I got my phone here because I got my script. Everything is set up. So, let's get into it. Now, I know it's not a surprise because you have already seen the title of this video and probably the thumbnail, so you already know what this is about. So without further ado, I'm just gonna tell you, yeah, today we're gonna talk about Blue Monday. Based on all the things that I'm doing here, trying to create some sort of channel that's gonna be my way of documenting a journey with all the wins and the fails, the good parts, the bad parts. I think this is really important. And talking about Blue Monday, I think that is also really, really important. Now, here's the thing. Blue Monday is basically not the nicest day in the calendar year, and I think this is basically the perfect way for me to kind of start this whole thing. Talk about something that is not necessarily fine and basically is really, really bad and somehow uncomfortable. Before we do anything else, let's get a little bit into the details so we can be on the same page basically, because Blue Monday is the most pressing day of the year. Some people took it upon themselves to make a little bit of research and decided that this is basically the worst day that you can get in the whole calendar year. Basically, it's the third day of Monday in the month of January. Okay, and this is when everything pretty much goes up for a lot of people. Look, I know that everybody has their own life, has their own struggles, and you have a point in the whole year where you feel really, really bad and your lows are really, really low. But collectively speaking, this is actually the worst moment that you can have. The biggest problem of this is that you have the month of December right behind you, and that's pretty great because it's a festive time of the year, because you have the holidays, you have Christmas, you have New Year's Eve, you have people taking time off work, spending time with friends, with family, visiting relatives, hanging around the Christmas table, exchanging presents, hanging around with friends, and getting to all the great parties of New Year's Eve. But after that, well, problems, they don't wait, so they come back and they're knocking at your door, because after all that fun and happy time, you have to get back to reality. That's exactly the moment when you say, yep, this sucks. However, even if that's actually bad enough, still doesn't really clarify the reason why I'm talking about this. That is because not only that people have to go back to work and, get back into that old boring routine, but this is also the moment where quite a lot of people just give up on their dreams. Everything that they set up to do on New Year's with New Year, New Me mentality, with the New Year resolutions, well, they just give up. And this is, well, quote unquote, the perfect moment. Well, this is especially sad because this is the moment in the whole year that you realize people just give up on everything, not because they're lazy, but you keep hearing the same thing over and over again, and you keep see the same thing over and over again. Now, this is also sad because it's that time of the year when you see the gym getting empty, you see people going back to their old habits when it comes to food, giving up on everything that means their new diet or anything like that. Everything that was a big plan just a few weeks ago just disappears. It's important to know that this happens in this period of the year, not because people are lazy, but because life is happening and everything seems to be overwhelming, and motivation just runs out before anything can turn into discipline and before any kind of new habit can be created. That is just mainly the problem, because when reality hits, everything feels like it's overwhelming. People don't quit because they don't want to get better, but it is because the results are way too far away. I get this thing perfectly because I have tried things in my life. It didn't necessarily happen on Blue Monday, it happened in any other moment of the year, but yes, I did quit. This time, I made the decision to stop that, to stop quitting. So yeah, I'm not gonna quit, not because I'm strong or special or anything like that, but simply because I get that feeling that, well, I'm kind of nowhere. Like, literally nowhere. I don't want to be in a situation where I have this illusion in myself that there is going to be some sort of magic way that things will be better and everything will be fixed. No, because this is not reality. This is not what's going to happen. So what I have to do is take action, take matter into my own hands. And like I said, this time I made the decision of not quitting and just keep moving forward. Also, there is another thing I said I will do, and that is forget all about the comfort zone, because I am tired of waiting and I am tired of sitting around and expecting every kind of other factor that does not have anything to do with me just happen so I can do things. No waiting for motivation, for confidence, or that perfect moment to show up. The most important thing here is to understand that you, or me in this case, well, I'm the one responsible for making that perfect moment happen. Now, here's the thing. People, of course, myself included, need to understand that nothing happens through magic, okay?
Okay! Okay, okay!
The perfect moment is not gonna come if you wait for it. Nobody will come to save you. Not even a video on YouTube like this one is gonna help fix every problem that you have. This right here, what happens, can be some sort of guidance towards achieving whatever it is that you want. So that's basically the reason why I'm doing this. It's because I want to take matter into my own hands, however uncomfortable it is, however messy it is, and however imperfect it might look. The reality is, I have tried things before. I tried doing sports when I was like a kid, and that was a good thing, but it happened for not even a year, like 7 to 8 months tops. What I ended up doing, I quit because it was way easier and way more comfortable to do that. There were moments in my life where I decided to, exercise a bit, not necessarily do a specific sports. I even had a few things around that will help me, lift some weights or anything like that. What I ended up doing, I quit. Even though I tried that multiple times, it happened like, for a couple of days. Most of it was like, I don't know, 3 weeks. What I ended up doing, again, I quit. I even tried YouTube before. And yeah, thing is, I was waiting for something perfect. I actually tried YouTube multiple times because I didn't think that what I was doing at some point, even though I started with one idea, well, I just changed my mind at some point. And I thought, well, this is not how I imagine things to be. It's not perfect, so I'm not gonna just spend any more time, resources, and energy on this. So yeah, I gave up. When something else came along and I felt that this is better, I started again, and then I quit. And then again, and then I quit. Thing is, this did not happen because I didn't care about things, whether it is doing a sport, doing a little bit of exercise, or YouTube, or whatever. It's because I was not happy about how things were going. I was not happy about the fact that I couldn't see any kind of results. I wanted everything to happen just like that. With all that happened, everything that was going on seemed to be nothing else but a futile fight. The big problem was that I didn't feel like I was getting what I wanted from every single activity that I started. And unfortunately, yeah, real life was happening. I had to focus on so many other things. Mainly because everybody tries to survive, okay? There's school, high school, college, work, and so many other things. Because of everything that was happening, I felt like I was overwhelmed. I didn't have the energy, didn't have the time, didn't have the resources. I felt like I had nothing. Besides everything that I just mentioned, obviously, there's other problems. Battling anxiety, having to deal with depression, also being kind of an introvert. I mean, all that I just said right now, and many other things on the side, represented all the reasons in the world why I should give up. So, obviously, that's exactly what I did. Another thing that I can tell you is that I have spent years trying to do so many things and starting over and over and over again, simply because I felt like if this is not perfect, is not worth it. And that could not be more false. What I did? Well, I got on with life. I was working, I stayed busy, I was doing things, I tried to get out of this bubble, and I waited and I waited and I waited, and guess what? Yeah, nothing. And yeah, there's always this kind of thought in my head, what if I had started earlier? This right now, what you're seeing, would not be the starting point of this channel, would be the middle point, or whoever knows. Well, even if in this situation it kind of feels like I'm late to the party, what I can tell you is that doesn't really matter for me right now, because at least I'm showing up. Now, I'm not really the kind of person that goes that far, but having all those failures that happen in my life kind of give me that idea that, maybe it's the universe trying to say something like, bro, stay in your lane. Maybe the universe is trying to treat me like a joke or something like that. So the reason why I wanted to talk about Blue Monday is because even if it's just one day in the year, everybody has their own Blue Monday, and it doesn't matter when it is. That's why I think this might just be more of a state of mind than anything else, because your Blue Monday might not be at all when the actual Blue Monday is. It's one more reason to want to turn things around. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, definitely not next year. In all fairness, things are not gonna be perfect. And here's an example for that. I had absolutely no idea if I could edit this video in time to actually be able to post on Blue Monday, but the original plan was at least film this on the actual Blue Monday day and try to get it out in time. If not, yeah, who knows? Who cares? It will be out a few days later. Well, the reality is this. Did not happen. So, should that idea stop me? Well, no. Because again, it's not necessarily about the day itself. Now, the whole conclusion of this is that I want to change something. Take this day of Blue Monday, whether it is the actual Blue Monday or everybody else's version of Blue Monday, no matter what day of the year is, I just want to make it just another day. Just another day of Monday, just another day, like a random day in the year. A day that is not special in a negative way, but can be special in a positive way. Because it can be the day that I showed up, or just another day that I showed up. It can be the day that I took action, or just another day where I took action. It can be the day where I did something, or just another day. Look, this is what everything will come down on this channel. Trying to change things. Life in general, your food habits, exercising, being healthier, taking care of yourself and every single aspect in your life, finances, whatever. This is clearly not going to be fast. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to be I don't want to make this channel about success in general, or everything just being fine and dandy, super mega perfect. Quite the opposite. I want to make it about the journey towards the goal that I set up for myself, and also maybe the goals you set up for yourself. If you are feeling stuck, and today feels bad, it feels heavy, if you're watching this video on your own version of Blue Monday, well, what I can say is that you're not the only one. So, like I said, I'm gonna treat this day just like any other day. Also, there is one more thing. I said something earlier about being like some sort of joke for the universe. The reality is, I know that quite a lot of people probably feel the same kind of feeling. The whole point of this video is to just reiterate some of the things that people manage to do in order to get out of their comfort zone and to get better. And that is going to happen obviously by taking action. If the universe tries to think of you as a joke, so if the universe or anything or anybody, anything around you is going to treat you like a joke, the best way to deal with that is to just do something about it and turn the joke on themselves. Because that's the point where nobody's going to laugh anymore. When everything is going to be just like in Stranger Things, turned upside down, nobody will laugh. Because now the joke is on them. And that's not funny anymore, because nobody can take a joke. And I do have something to say about that. But I guess I'll leave it to the professionals.
The bastard, they can't take a joke!